minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff.
Shake it back! Does that feel good? Yeah.
Welcome to Shake and Baker's to episode 59 of the Shake and Bake Show. With Lyle smoked his eyebrows off Barnett. Courtney almost got in trouble.
Shortney, I like that. Yeah.
Shortney just about got in trouble before the show. Old Purple Teeth might be already deep in the sauce. And we got
Shortney.
a show for you ladies and guys tonight. It's going to be good.
You come up short in a lot of areas, Courtney, including your raking abilities. Anyway, on the better news.
Let me go ahead and let's go ahead and see the Brawl advisory up there because this show is going to be pretty spicy tonight. It's been 2 weeks since I've seen you guys. What's been going on?
Oh, God. I really want to go straight to the Deadbeat Corner segment of this show.
We have a very segmented, scheduled show today, boys.
I know, but
can't wait to get to Deadbeat Corner.
I bitched the last 45 seconds before the show started about what I'm dealing with.
Or I almost threw the show on its roof.
Yeah, in my professional, well, that no part of my life is professional. In the work side of my life. But anyway, we're not going to go there.
So but you don't want to talk about the phrase speedliner.
I don't.
Okay, all right, we're not going to talk about it.
I don't.
I have an announcement to make.
Weedlocks?
NHRA beer guys in the chat.
Oh, what up, NHRA beer guy?
We got the beer guy in the chat.
Holly, did we get any of his Crash Up Derby stuff? Damn, we didn't.
No, on top of all the other shit Molly and I were doing this week, we did not get that.
Well, it's been an action-packed 2 weeks in motorsports. We have missed the heck out of you Shake and Bakers, and Lyle obviously hasn't. We've been basically, the three of us have traveled the globe in the last couple of weeks, racing all over the place. What's crazy is like I love hanging out with these two, but sometimes we're so busy at the races. I remember I was testing a car in Rockingham. Lyle drives down on the scooter looking for his sunglasses, and he just rides by. And he's like, "Hey," I'm like, "Hey, bitch, come over here." And we don't get to hang out as much as we wish we could.
I literally just slowed down and was like, "Yeah, I guess I'll see you here in a few hours." Back to the
and it was on I think it was on a Shake and Bake night. So it was like,
it was. We literally jetted. That's the night we were both late. Courtney had to start the show on her own. Worst
man, fun. When she was y'all think Courtney's like hardcore, but she was scared to death when she had to do it.
Courtney, what have you been doing?
Well, not a lot, to be honest with you.
Wagging. You've been wagging around.
Wagging around.
Wagging and raking and wagging and raking. No, what did I do? We had a week off and spent that up in Canada. And then I went to Chicago with absolutely nothing to do. So
how was that?
What is that like? Like if you just show up and have some fun or something?
No, I did. Well, I mean, I had fun, but no, I didn't. So I ended up actually working because I'm a glutton and I'm the grittiest human in the world. I did the NHRA Insider podcast with Brian and Tony. I did the video with Jordan Vandergriff. And then I somehow maneuvered my way. I just so happened to be up in the tower when Pro Mod was up.
I saw you sneak in there. So we need to get me and you and Lyle in the tower, or one of us at the time with Tucci up there, because I will say this: Tucci let it rip a little bit this race. This is the first time he kind of let the old tater out the bag, and it was great.
There was a couple of times where if we were at a different racetrack and a different organization, we'd have gone down a different avenue. He was teeing him up, and if you know, you know. If you don't, you didn't catch it.
How long do you think we would make it in the booth, door shut, just us three on the mic for Pro Mod before they came in? And
first of all, the NHRA brass would be trying to break in about 35 seconds. Like if we walked in there, got in the booth, and locked the door, it would be awesome.
They have a Jumbotron, and Jason Logan could announce the parental advisory. I don't see a problem.
There was only 2 potential. Oh my goodness! Whenever I started working for the NHRA, and it was the Shake and Bake show and 00 shit show. So they probably wouldn't let us in there.
Happy birthday, Smoke! How about a way to give yourself a birthday present? Come on with it.
And in dominating fashion.
We're gonna get to that soon. We
got
good. About Tom Bailey's run also a little bit later. I'm gonna put that on my list.
Well,
I have some thoughts.
Me too.
Let's high and low.
Oh yeah, let's do the highs and lows. We got a lot of so we got to stay on task here. Things
you do. I will help with that. Don't you worry.
I can find Molly, fire the highs and lows thing.
Just pick one.
Just pick one. There's 3.
Highs and lows. That one.
I'm Bill. All right.
I always beat you down.
What do you got there? Triple C.
I'm going to start with the low because it is pretty somber low and we don't need to stay on it for long because this is an upbeat episode that we've got here. But I do have to say a good friend of ours from Canada, he actually worked on Spencer's car at the World Series of Pro Mod, Devin. You guys may have remembered him. He's the one that 00 shit showed you to post about because it was his first time in America, first time at a big drag race like that, and had himself some cocktails and spilled down the grandstands and came up arms ablazing and just had a great time. But really lively guy. He passed away over the week in a very freak accident on his bicycle, and just a bum deal. So I did want to give him and his peeps a shout out. Spencer and his guys are having a rough week up there, and just one of the coolest dudes ever. So thinking about them, praying. His name's Devin. And like I said, we don't need to somber in it or roll right to the high. My high was that I had nothing to do this week. Got a few pictures from Chicago, wagged it up, got to really watch Spencer. I got to ruffle some feathers with my hats. Apparently it looks like I got a new boob job.
Trying to rob a bank here or something?
Yeah, I don't like nitro. And I thought I looked cool. And I told Mackenzie to take a picture of me, and she did. But I got more freaking comments. It's unreal. That's the Hyde crew, Gayatri and on the left and Spencer's mom on the right. But that's what it looks like to not wear Elite Motorsports at the racetrack. Who knew?
I thought you all had those masks on because of the massive dust storm.
Well, that too. They honestly came into play there. But it was cool just hanging out doing nothing. I was bored out of my mind, but it was cool to actually watch with just a different eyeball and not really have anywhere to go. So that was my high.
All right.
Beautiful.
What you got, LB?
I did. My first high is Molly, you can.
I got them all. I don't know which one's first. Oh, number 1
was the updated power rankings list. I moved up a spot, but I guess that's Stevie got kicked out.
Yeah, I got thrown completely out.
He's a goner off the list, but thought that was cool to move up a spot. My second high is this weekend. We are going to Shadyside Dragway for a $75,000 to win 64 car invitational only shootout. 28 10 5 non-W, has to be a bias ply slick, no radials, no W's, and it's 64, the baddest small tire. They're really they're small tire, no prepish guys, and then a few others mixed in. Last year the show was great. I drove Larry Roach's Barracuda last year and did really well, and this year I'm taking the Tommy Humans, my next high picture. Salvage Tyler Pro 275 car. That is at Shadyside this past Sunday. We went and made some runs. The car's never been on 28s. It's always been on a 275. So it was a bit of a learning curve, but we made a couple really good runs, and I'm excited about it. And then my announcement, number 3, is after a year off, we are going to bring beer money back out. They are having a Little Gangsters class. Jimmy Dale and Poland created this class several years ago. It is a 530 index, 28 10 5 non-W or a 275 radial there. A neat deal that they do is during eliminations, you do not get a time slip. So according to the actual timing system, you have no idea what you ran. Now there's draggies. You can put number 4 up if you want. There are draggies and ways to get pretty close to what you think your car ran, but there you don't really know. So you kind of, it's a little bit of a guessing game and something interesting for both us and the fans. So Beer Money is coming back out after a year off. We're going to run some little gangsters at Shadyside.
That's exciting. Hell yes. You need some Beer Money shirts.
You've been to Shadyside before, Stevie? I'm sure you have.
Man, I raced at Shadyside 100 times back in the old days. Man. Me and Brad Edwards and Jeremy McElrath duking it out in PDRA Top Street.
Yep.
Back in the day. I haven't been in a little while, but I did love it when we used to go.
I went on a streak in Beer Money there. I won most every race we went to there over the course of like 2 or 3 years. So I've won a bunch of races there, and that is one of the more nostalgic racetracks there's ever been. If you've never been, you need to go. The pits are in the valley. The owners of the track live at the top end of it, up on the hill, overlooking the racetrack. Like it is the Buff brothers. Seth and Zach still run that place. Their grandfather, who passed away, Ronnie Buff. This is the Ronnie Buff Memorial Race. Ronnie passed away several years ago, and his kids are doing a good job. Corey Stamper with Spooled Media puts the race on, and it's a big deal. That place will be jam packed. It don't hold a lot of people, but what it does hold will be full. I can promise you that. It's a good time. If you don't have anything to do, Shadyside is the place to be.
Heck yeah! I remember when we were racing there before, the scoreboards were on wires. I don't know if they still are. And the whole thing was to go fast enough to make the turn and coast back to the pits. Like, if you could do that, you were running pretty good.
Yep. And it's still, they extended the shutdown, but you can still, you got to get a pretty good run because it's got to slide uphill before it goes down. But if you can crest the hill and you're parked on the bottom all the way back to the pit, you can go. I skipped my low though.
I got it right here.
My poor low. My home dog, Keekly Beat, has an ACL injury that we're dealing with. Dude limps all over the place, and I'm very, very worried that we're going to have some major surgery coming up. Hopefully not, but we've been limping for several months now. So,
listen, that's absolutely horrible. I take nothing away from it. But when you threw that picture up, I thought you were going to say something horrible, and I was about to log off. No. We've got an ACL, and dude's hurting, man. Sucks. Jackie Boy has to get surgery next week too. He's just got some gum tooth stuff going on, but still scary. I don't like it.
He got the gingivitis.
He's part chow chow, so he's always had some gum stuff, and we've been able to stay up on it. But it's to the point. I mean, he's 11 years old, and she's like, honestly, to do him better if you just yank one of them out at the back. So I'm a big baby. I'm scared. My little boy's getting his tooth pulled, and I'm scared.
All right, Stevie.
All right, I'll start with my lows because my high is going to be part of my Stevie Fast KTR announcement.
Is that right?
Joe, the fastest that thing ran in grudge trim back in the day, it ran 4:19 is the fastest it ever went back then. That was awesome. That was on a true 28-inch tire at 3,250 pounds.
Yeah.
With real stock suspension, and God, that thing was a death trap. Oh, yeah, we got to hurry. Okay, so my low was Sydney Frigo DNQing Chicago. We came off Charlotte running like a rock star, and the track threw us a loop, and we came loose in the middle of the gear change on Q1 and 2, and then something's mechanically wrong in the car, and it just drove to the right across the center line, Q3 and 4, just undrivable. I think that we know what's wrong, but I really won't know till we get it back on the racetrack. But the thing was basically unraceable. It's just tough to come off running as good as we did and then just completely suck. But when you have company in the DNQ list of the current and reigning NHRA Pro Mod World Champion and the previous NHRA Pro Mod World Champion from the year before also with you in the DNQ list, makes it feel a little bit better, but it sucks.
It's been wild this year in a bunch of classes for that kind of stuff.
I think I'd be shocked if most everyone doesn't DNQ a race. Like I really would. It'll be interesting to see who could qualify for all of them because you're just going to have a bad weekend and everybody's fast. So, all right, we'll get to my high. My high is also my announcement that in NHRA Bristol, I will be piloting the Motion Raceworks sponsored Artavenco owned NHRA Pro Mod in place of Sydney Frigo for a race. So you guys see me back in NHRA competition for a race. Sydney's got a business meeting he can't come to, and we'll be legging the old Motion Raceworks horse down through there.
Bristol's a good one.
Never won Bristol, and blower cars go to die there. So it's on my list. There's only 2 tracks on the deal I haven't won, and I want Bristol.
It'd be an awesome one to win for sure.
It would be good.
What's the other one?
Gainesville.
That's everybody's always. I feel like that Gainesville and your hometown.
Gainesville. So I'm gonna get them. Eventually, I'll get it.
Well,
I think I just plan to come run those 2 races every season until I win. It'd be way cheaper.
Much.
You ain't lying.
But it'd be very cool to. It's gonna be cool to see all you folks back at the big show. Well, how fast beer money, Ben? If you can say or you can't say.
Can't say. Probably not as fast. I'm learning that probably not as fast as you think. Don't get me wrong. For an 850 started 10-point cage, no subframe connectors, and true stock suspension, it's fast as shit.
Right.
But probably not as. I don't know. Just put a guess up there, and I'll just see in my mind how close you are. But I had a guy come up this weekend that was like 0.4 off. I'm like, dude, this thing is not a Pro 275 car. Like,
he thought you were running like 360s or something?
Well, I mean, he definitely thought that I ran like freaking 420s, and I'm like, dude, no. This thing is a 2,900-pound complete and utter pile of shit. It is awful, but I love it.
I see that I got a graphic. Oh, yeah, we got a graphic up for this. Follow us on social media. We got a new Instagram deal, right? The Shake and Baker. And then we're Shake and Bake Show on whatever the thumbs up thing is.
That's Facebook.
Facebook.
Wow. He's even old. He's more boomer than a boomer.
Hey. So we're working on getting our Shake and Baker's Instagram up. So we're turning off stuff to there. We got some pretty cool announcements about that a little later.
All those people are really, okay.
What we need out of you guys, though, much like
all of you guys are really close over there.
What are you talking about?
How fast beer money was? They asked, and
okay.
Yeah, you're very close.
We need y'all to go on there and like both of those because part of the reason, I mean, we all just post on our stuff, but we want to end up transitioning over to just collabing with us. And I told Molly, we're not going to take it seriously till we get like 10,000 subscribers or likes on Instagram because that's easy. We had it up there, didn't even know about it, and we had like 400. So y'all go like it, put the stuff on your story. We got to get that out there so we can start using it. You'll get clips, reels. It'll benefit you. Just go like it.
It'll either help or ruin your life.
Probably
Courtney, are you drinking wine through a straw?
No. Okay.
That's water with Pedialyte in it.
Oh, it's because you drank yesterday.
I will say the past 10 days, there has been a large consumption of wine. I looked at it on the airplane the other day and I went, that's the first time I think I've ever done that. So
let me see if I can find Deadbeat Corner and we'll go ahead and get that done.
We can do that before our first guest.
I got to see if I can find the Deadbeat Corner intro.
Steve asked Lyle what happened running PDRA Pro Boost. We're still running Pro Boost. So I'm chasing. Well, I started the year going to chase 2 championships. That was the plan at the beginning of the year, and then some schedule rearrangement happened. And Tommy Humans, that owns our team and all the cars, really likes running the radial stuff. Salvage Title is the fastest 275 car in the world. His Pontiac is really running good. So we decided to chase the radial championship, and I'm going to run Pro Boost just when it allows. So we will be in Maryland, and then we'll run at least one or two more for the rest of the year, but just not chasing the championship like we originally planned. Just schedules don't work out.
I can't wait to bring that shadow over and run a little Pro Boost.
I really like running over there, Tyler. That's the first time I've ever ran PDRA was Galat, and I was very impressed and thought that they do a really good job. So I love running there. I just can't be in two places at once.
Yeah, when I ran the Papster at VMP, first time I ran in PDRA in a while, and I was really impressed too.
Mm-hmm.
Very well organized, very good.
I really don't. I cannot. I don't understand why they don't have any more fans than they do. Like, that's really good racing over there. They race at really good facilities. It's just
I had
wild.
a customer call me today and ask me. He said, "Hey, I got this X amount of budget. Like, we're gonna bring stuff in house. Where do you think we should race? You think we should go PDRA or NHRA? Which one's easier?" Is what he said. And I was like, "Either one of them are easy, man." I was like, I said that right there. Both those are like hard, like as hard as it gets. Like, you know, I couldn't even give him any advice on where he would have more success because they're both so hard.
Yeah. They should.
All right, let's do Deadbeat Corner. I might as well get us started off the internet. Oh, yeah. So I do love that thing. So Deadbeat Corner is a segment here at the Shake and Big Show used to bring unethical business practices to the spotlight in our sport, try to warn some of you folks away from using some of these products. And I want to preface this by saying our industry is inundated with great companies and great vendors and people that know how to run their business and people that like money, that you can try to give it to them and they'll take it from you and shake your hand and then sell you stuff. And then there's other companies that will not sell you parts. They'll lie to you, not communicate with you, and drag you along for months and months and months down the road. So the star of Deadbeat Corner this week is Racing Force Group. This is a company that I think they own Bell Safety, I think, and some other stuff. There are many options to buy fire suits in our industry that are great. Stand 21, Simpson, Impact, Sparco, lots of great options. If you need a fire suit, never, ever, ever call this company. You will not get your fire suit. They'll waste 1,000 hours of your life. They'll lie to you. They will not communicate with you, and you'll never get it. So just don't do it.
You going to tell the backstory or?
Well, we tried to order a couple of fire suits, like $7,000 or $8,000 worth of fire suits, real deal fire suits, for about 4 months. I was told by someone that this company was a legitimate business company. Some previous leadership that we had here at our company started down that path. And after hundreds of phone calls and emails and lying, just flat out not telling the truth, we finally give up. I cuss the people out, and then we get an email, "Oh, your fire suit's done. We're ready to ship it." And
Isn't that funny how that works every time?
we're just not doing it. Like the manager of the company said, this was a week and a half ago. "We do not know where your fire suits are. I don't know why anyone told you that you could get these in any timely fashion this season. We do not have any deadline for when these will be done. We've never built a 20-layer fire suit, and I can't give you a completion date. So, thanks." And then they're done. They're done this week. They're done. So I don't know. Bad company, man. Just don't do it. It takes a lot to make Deadbeat Corner because I'm really, really, really reasonable. But that's the shittiest company I've done business with in 10 years.
So what are you going to do with fire suits?
I just ordered them from a real company. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what they're doing with them. I'm not taking them. So if any of y'all are like 6'7" and want to get some big, tall 20-layer fire suits, they got a couple of them done. I'm sure they can put you on the fast track to getting them. We ordered the fire suits from a real legitimate company, and we'll have them in 3 or 4 weeks. You know, like you're supposed to.
Yeah, like you're supposed to.
While we're still in Deadbeat,
Oh, you got some Deadbeat action?
I don't even like to say his name, and I contemplated not, but the people that were affected by it today are enough that I'm going to say it. There's a media company. We call them copy and paste media. He may or may not have been banned from any kind of R pages. He's talked so much shit through the years. Erica called him out at a race one time. You know the one I'm talking about, 3-letter name. Put Sweet Allie Bland on blast today because he got his credentials denied for the NHRA. Put her picture, job title, email, all kinds of shit up on the internet. Like, A, no one cares what you think. B, you're not telling real stories, and that's why you're getting denied. And C, you're on a harassment list, buddy, because you harass the fucking people of the NHRA for this very reason. So only reason I brought this up is just to reiterate that we are a tribe. And if you think that you're going to just put your little request in and get to come cover the greatest sport in the world while you harass the people that have something to do with it, you're a fucking idiot. Good night. Lay down, sit down, shut up. Anyway, love you, Allie. Bye.
The racing community of good folks is very small and very tight. So when you try to kick one of us in the nuts, we're probably going to come after you. It's going to be a different.
And it's her job, right? Like, Jesus, to put her picture up there, like in this day and age, that's dangerous. That's dangerous behavior. And then you wonder why you have to sit back and copy and paste or take pictures from the ropes. Just God bless his heart. For 20 years.
And not that her email address is probably not you could probably find it if you looked hard enough, but like, can you imagine what her email inbox looks like at this point?
Just an ignorant fool. But anyway, so what's up? Team Shake and Bake, don't mess with our people.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's gonna be pretty good.
You heard.
Yeah, even Elon sitting in the green room. You come at Allie Bland, you are dead to me. So bye. Speaking of, guys, the Shake and Bake show. We always talk about we're not partnering up. We're not putting anybody else's name on this deal because they won't let us be us. We are doing this for one of the first times. We have somebody who loves us for who we are, wants us to be more of what we are, and we're bringing you guys something really, really cool through this here little partnership that we're about to announce.
Hey, dun, dun, dun. With no further ado, let's bring on our man, Elon Werner. What's up, buddy?
Shake and Bake, thanks for having me on. And let me tell you, this has me so fired up because I created Drag Race Bracket Bonanza to talk shit.
Yeah,
you're on the right track now.
Opportunity for me to make the tent bigger. I've been in drag racing for 30 years. Right? I've got buddies that know I worked for Force, I worked for Coletta, but they never really understood exactly what it was. I started Drag Race Bracket Bonanza in 2023 and had my buddies test it for me. And then all of a sudden, they're asking me about J.R. Todd, Dave Richards, Gage Herrera. It's basically just, everyone knows March Madness.
Right.
We do that 20 times a year. So let's have some fun with it. So it's free. That's the key for me. It's free for kids for any ages. Get on there with your family or friends. And we have leagues. We started leagues last year, and I don't know who wants to make it official.
I don't know. We got a graphic somewhere there, Molly.
Okay. Dun, 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 dun. We now have the Shake and Bake show.
Code fajitas.
Also, more Shake and Bake history. You are the first person to ever had a custom code.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right, folks, go to Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. Join the Shake and Bake League. You'll be going against me, Courtney, Lyle, and the rest of the Shake and Bakers every week. Code is fajitas.
Correct. And if you sign up, if you sign up now during the show, we're going to draw 4 people from random and send them the official Drag Race Bracket Bonanza hat. So sign up now. You'll be able to fill out the brackets for Epping, which is the next race. We do tip sheets. We do text alerts to help you remember. But
we're going to need that, Elon. We're going to need the help.
And just so you know I know Lyle and Stevie, this is going to come as a shock to you, but Courtney is actually a good person because we set the league up over the weekend and she and her man played inside the league, and Abby Warner Woodward, who basically runs Drag Race Bracket Bonanza on the operations side, sent a text out and was like, hey, you already have one race worth of points. Should we reset the points back to 0 so everyone starts on a level playing field, or would you like to just start with a one race head start over Stevie and Lyle?
And
I'd probably give her the head start because she's gonna get her ass kicked.
And she actually said, "Can you multiply my points by 3?"
Yeah, well,
I don't doubt that. So
still not gonna help you much, but looks better.
No, it's not, because I have a problem. Because it's free, I pick with my heart, and it never works out for me.
can I put up the announcement too, or not yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, there we go. So create an account, log in, enter code fajitas, and fill out your bracket. So basically, what we're going to do, if I understand this right from Molly Lou, is we're going to keep track of points in the Shake and Bake League. We're going to have champions. I think me and Lyle and maybe Courtney are going to give away some stuff. It's going to be pretty fun.
We have made you guys custom certificates of achievement, or however you want to give them to, that were hands down the fun. I love Shake and Bake because you guys, the press release, we're going to send a press release out tomorrow. Funnest press release I've written in a long time, because I was able to say things like ball busters.
There we go.
Keeping it real. You know, all the stuff that a lot of corporate clients are like, I don't know if I really want to say shit in a press release.
We do.
Well, these guys are talking shit. And this is if you're a fan of the show, this is your chance to put your money where your mouth is, fill out the brackets, and then let's see how it goes. And
so the logistics of it, so everybody knows, is it literally, if you go to the website right now and even play around with it, you look at it, it's each class that is participating in the pro categories has a bracket. You pick every single round. So we've been picking our winners on this show, but the brackets do not open until Saturday night, until qualifying is over. So we're already going to make our long shot picks on the show. But then after qualifying is over, we will go in and fill out our brackets. And that's where the points really, really start to matter. And Elin, we've got our own league.
Got your own league. It'll keep track of all the points for you guys. And everybody that's in the Shake and Bake League is also in the Drag Race Bracket Bonanza universe. Cool. So you can still win the race prizes. We do custom plaques. Summit Racing sponsors our plaques. And we get the race winners to sign them. And like this past weekend, Tony Stewart won Top Fuel. He signed his plaque, Tony Stewart Points Leader.
Hell yeah.
Jack Beckman signed his, won this one for Peak, Jack Beckman.
Very cool.
I think Gage Herrera signed his, I can even win on a rental bike. So,
all right.
So they're truly one-of-a-kind plaques. And if it's like a significant event, like Doug Coletta signed his 50th win. You know, the drivers dig it. It's one-of-a-kind event. It's totally free. You don't have to be present to win. We mail the plaques out. So you can win Shake and Bake prizes. You can win Drag Race Bracket Bonanza prizes. It's so much fun. And
we'll do some giveaway on our end, some KTR merch, Steve Fast merch, Shake and Bake merch. I'm going to give away some feedlock stuff. Courtney can give away a broken wine glass or something.
Yeah.
What else you got? All right, Elon, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Hit me.
What do we have to do to get NHRA Pro Model on the bracket? Come on now.
This is where I run into, you have to have some time to fill out the bracket. Get NHRA to run you guys only on Sundays.
So 90% of our races are slated for Sunday.
Okay. So
I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I believe the remainder of our races are Sunday eliminations.
Okay. Then I will go get with my IT guys.
Okay.
And I will look at least for the U.S. Nationals, at least for a handful. We can look at some events, and we'll figure out a way to have Pro Mod.
See if you can just do it for the countdown. It's only
that's fine. It's 4 races.
Okay.
Four races in the countdown.
Yep. And so here's what I'll do. I'm gonna look at our deal, and I will contact you and let you know. But as far as I know, I think the last of the races are Sunday eliminations.
Elon, you had to know that was coming.
No, then we'll figure it, because I want to do it. I get asked all the time, the Pro Superstar Shootout. I wanted to do Bracket Bonanza so bad, but they do the chip draw. So there's not bracket stability, which that's an insane phrase that I just came up with. Bracket stability is the thing, because, you got to be able to pick all the way through. But if we will figure out a way to make that work, Stevie, because that's a question that I've had. I mean, we have people ask about Nostalgia Funny Car, the Flex Jet Factory Stock Showdown guys. It's just a matter of if we can give a big enough window for people to fill out the bracket, we'll make that happen.
Hey, Elon, in the comments over here, just so you don't get blown up, they're saying the fajita code is invalid.
Okay. Then Abby is listening, and we will get that squared away.
Just so you guys aren't getting bombarded.
We're going to post this on our new social media accounts, friends. So you'll be able to go back and reference that. Fajitas, and somebody else says it works. Fajitas, plural, and all lowercase.
Okay.
We'll get that squared away.
Oh, it is. Okay. It is case sensitive. Fajitas with an S worked fine. So maybe just for those of you it didn't work for, go back and check and make sure.
There you go. Okay. That's also what I love about the NHRA. Our fans self-police.
That's right.
Yep.
You make a run at Allie Bland.
Allie, it looks like you're good.
We're going to come off the top rope on you. You have
I like that. People's elbow right to the fucking jugular.
Self-correct. That was when I do stuff with some dry, like we did stuff with Force back in the day, and people would just come at JFR about stuff, and people would be like, "Oh, are you going to respond to that?" And I was like, "No, the fans will take care of it. The fans will take care of that."
They do. The fans of Erica Enders, she'll get on it.
Yeah. It's also, yes, come at Erica Enders at your own peril.
And obviously come at Tony Stewart that way.
Yes.
My man, let it rip.
Awesome. Yeah. Please, if you're a fan of Antron Brown, do not antagonize Tony Stewart.
Right.
Just let it, he's that. There's a reason that guy's won so many races in every category. He has to find a way to motivate himself.
Yeah.
And even if it's just creating slights, but I'm excited about Drag Race Bracket Bonanza with you guys. The cool thing is it does get you more engaged in the race.
Yeah.
With the Play NHRA, there's the gambling element that's coming along, but you can track your points. So Sunday before the final round, that if you've got Erica picked to win Pro Stock and she's racing Greg and you need her to win Bracket Bonanza,
Greg's got a break.
It is okay. Come on. It's all ebbs and flows. It's all cyclical. You have that extra juice in there. And the bracket busters. That's also one of the funnest elements is we are stat nerds. When guys that have only been, 2% chance of winning, drag racing is one of the greatest sports ever because anything can happen at any time. So, all right, Patrick, here's my rudimentary explanation of how the points work. You get, 1 point for first round picks, correct? 2 points for second round, 3 points for third round, 4 points for fourth round. They compound. You get bonus points for upset picks. So if you pick a 12 seed over a 5 seed and they win, you're going to get a little bit of a kicker on there. So that's how we get into the decimal points. So it's a standard progression. Each round is worth more, but if there's more upset picks, so let's say you pick a 12 seed to win the whole race and they upset the 5 seed, the next seed, you're going to get max points because you're picking an upset and an upset one.
And what's cool too is Drag Race Bracket Bonanza's social stuff honestly does a good job of A, reminding you, but B, they've got these pie charts of like how many people picked Erica, how many people picked whoever, and it's really cool to see that. And again, yes, I saw the comments if I just pick Erica and Spencer, but one good race, whether you're Chad Green, Spencer Hyde, Corey Reed, it's so wild to see how 0.1% goes so quickly to 25%.
Yes.
The data that you are compiling for our sport, I think, is so important in the big picture.
It's super cool. And Jaden in Australia, that's another thing that blows my mind. There are people playing Bracket Bonanza all over the world. We've shipped prizes to Canada. We've shipped prizes to Germany. We've shipped. Thank you, baby Jesus. We had a guy win in the Philippines. And he sent me an email that's like, hey, I'm going to be in Las Vegas in 2 months to visit my brother. You can just mail my prize to Las Vegas.
Thank God.
And I was like, oh, I didn't even want to walk into the post office and say, how much is it going to cost to send this to the Philippines? But I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. And the Aiden Lampkin, who's my IT guy, sets it up. So if you log into Bracket Bonanza, because we have a countdown clock as we get closer to the race, it will show your time zone. So if you're playing in Australia, it'll tell you how many hours you have until the brackets open or the brackets close. So it self-configures based on your laptop situation.
So how much time do you need post-qualifying before eliminations for it to work? Like
we traditionally have the brackets open 15 minutes after the last pro qualifying session.
Gotcha.
So basically, and we wait for the NHRA official results.
Right.
So we're basically uploading. If it's a normal race on Saturday, Pro Stock will go in first, Pro Stock Motorcycle, and then, well, I guess I got to invert that because they've shuffled the schedule around. It's Top Fuel, Funny Car, Pro Stock Motorcycle, and then the brackets open. And we send out an email alert and a text alert when that happens.
There you go. There was a question there about, are there alerts? So
yes. And then there's actually on Sunday morning, it varies depending on the start time, whether it's a 1 hour till brackets close or 2 hours till brackets close. And top speed is based on race day. So we use top speed as a tiebreaker, and it's race day top speed. And we go all the way to the 100th. So on the speed.
And as you guys go and fill this out for the first time next week, if you've never played before, a couple of things. It really is user friendly, and it tells you how to do it, and it explains that. But also something that you want to keep in mind is you guys can create leagues within your own team. Like we have a Team Elite league, but I did learn this the hard way. You've got to copy your brackets to all of your leagues. But again, as you walk through the website, it's very dummy proof, I would say. Elon, am I right?
I try to make it as user friendly. And also, if you have buddies that don't know anything about drag racing that you want to play, we have a randomizer button that you can basically hit the randomizer button and it fills out all the brackets for you. And I have some people that are like Nitro people, and I have some people that are Pro Stock people. So you can do the randomizer button. It'll randomize everything, and then you can go back and edit that based on your needs. If you're like, oh, there's no way, I'm not going to say any, but there's no way this guy's going to win Pro Stock Motorcycle because we know it's going to be Gage.
Where you were going with that.
It's going to be Gage or Matt. As much as I'm pulling for Gianna and Richard and Chase, it just, that's just a bracket. That's just a bracket buster. But you can go in and edit it from there.
We should do a randomizer league, Courtney.
Allie Bland and her husband Cody actually have a head-to-head personal randomizer league where they go, and I get texts from Allie.
Cool.
I don't like my chances this weekend.
You get one click.
One click, and that's it.
That's it.
So, but yeah, so we do the randomizer. It also helps if you get jammed up. We close the brackets right as first round of Top Fuel when they're doing the burnouts. So we try to give as much time as possible to get everybody in. And there was a race, Vegas. This is Sarah Slaughter. We go back a long ways. I literally had my button on the lock key as she was beside me in the Vegas press room.
No.
Filling out her bracket. And I was like, okay, is it in? Submitted. And then I locked, and they were like, guys were rolling forward and crew chiefs were like walking away from the Top Fuel dragsters.
All right. So I just heard back from Deb, head of Finish Line Consultants. She's going to check tomorrow, but she says that she thinks the remainder of the Pro Mod season is Sunday eliminations.
Okay.
So I'm going to find out as soon as she checks tomorrow. And that'll be really
I always somehow figure out how to make extra work for you, don't I?
I know. And I like it because Aiden, if he's probably watching right now, my IT guy is probably just like this.
Trying to kill you. Okay. So all you folks in the comments, put a comment if you think Pro Mod would be an awesome addition to the brackets.
Yes.
I've seen a couple that say they think it would be the most difficult to choose.
It would be.
It is, because it is such a combo of racetrack, driver, and crew chief dependent. You never know what's going to happen pro mod.
Oh, I love this comment from Dave W. Finally got my niece to join this weekend and play for Chicago. She made her picks based on the attractiveness of the driver headshots. That's awesome.
and truly, that is why we added pictures. We have pictures of the drivers and we have little stats. So if you're a Chevy guy and you want to pick all the Chevy drivers, you can do that. If you're a Peak guy, if you're a Matco versus Mac Tools, we want to give that everything to make it kind of idiot proof and low barrier for entry.
Man, good for her. I'm not running much this year. She'd have me pick for every race.
Yeah, you'd go just to be undefeated. True story. With the NFL one year, we play in a family league, and the woman that does our graphic design picked based on the attractiveness of quarterbacks, and damn near won because it was like Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. It was there. They did so good. And I was like, yeah, if and you're, I don't know, Stevie Jackson, you're close enough to my demo, I think. But when they had Good Times or What's Happening was a show, Dwayne's sister picked all the teams based on their mascots, and was winning all the time. And then she found out that was the deal. So
but
I appreciate the chance to hook up with you guys.
It's vulnerable. You did this thing with Alex Taylor this weekend where it was like, compare your bracket to Alex Taylor. And yes. I thought, would I pick differently knowing the world was going to see every single round pick that I make?
Yeah.
It's kind of exposing. Like,
Courtney, I'm going to crush you. Like,
all of you. Actually, I'm not good at this game. I had 1 week. It was Reading last year where I had one perfect bracket and I still didn't win anything.
Yeah, it's tough.
We lost on mile an hour, but it's tough. It's fun.
And I truly think if you're, 18 or 21, depending on what state you live in, Drag Race Bracket Bonanza is the perfect gateway drug to play NHRA.
It is.
If you want to lose all your money gambling, start here.
Start here. This is we'll build your confidence up in Drag Race Bracket Bonanza with plaques.
Then we'll empty your bank account.
Please, but if you're going to do that, please click on set your Play NHRA account up through Drag Race Bracket Bonanza because we're an affiliate. So as you're going to the poorhouse, I can at least get $5 for you signing up the account.
Well, we do. We want to make this really worthwhile for you, especially if he's going to put promo on here. So you guys go sign up. Our socials will be reminding you as it goes. This will help me to continuously do it too, because there's some weeks where I do the posting for Erica or Jag, and then I'm like, I didn't even do mine. I did all this. Hey, brackets are closing, yada, and then I never filled mine out. So this is a motivation, a push. All of you shake and bakers who tell us we make dumb picks, put up or shut up.
Yes, I will be. I will have a spreadsheet done in about an hour, and I'll take this way too far.
Yeah. I mean, don't, like Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec, don't half-ass it, Stevie.
Oh, I use the whole ass. Like, in everything you do, I use the whole thing.
Yeah. But this is going to be fun, and I'm definitely joining the league because I am terrible. I don't think I've ever finished in top 500.
There's one that breaks me.
I pick with my heart too much, Lyle, and I also obviously have some clients, and not that they've all told me we don't care. You don't have to pick me to win the race. But I just do. I just get in there, and Ron Capps is my kryptonite too. Ron Capps is my favorite funny car driver for 35 plus years. So I'm always going to lean on my man Capps. So.
And the only times I ever don't pick with my heart, my friends win. So like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's a tricky deal.
No, this is going to be great. And there's no limit on how many people can join our league or anything.
You can have thousands of people in your league. And you can basically, however you want to run it. Some teams, I know some guys run their leagues that it's tough sometimes to do 20 races. You guys will be able to hit it out of the park because you guys have loyal fans. But some people just say, we're going to take your 5 best races in their private leagues, just so that gives them a little wiggle room, or their 15 best races, that gives them 5 to miss in a season.
Yeah, no wiggle room
prizes, here. The other thing that I pride myself on is the universal Bracket Bonanza prizes. We do championship belts. We do a 6-race countdown standalone series. Nice super champ belts that we get the world champions to sign. the overall prize, the guys or gal that does all 20 races and wins the overall championships, Impact gives us a helmet, and we get everybody that makes the countdown signs the helmet.
I'm glad Impact's giving it to you and not Racing Force Group. Could you?
Racing Force Group would still be waiting on it. Deadbeats.
For sure.
Elon, you fit in so well in this.
I was, and as soon as I saw it, the first thing I thought was, man, that's not one of Force's companies, is it? And I was like, no. And I wonder how much business they get.
None.
Because people think
because of Force.
Maybe.
They think it's aligned with John Force Racing.
Letter.
And then they quickly find out, nope, not so much.
Nope, I'm Sparkle Girl.
Yeah,
that's
I saw a comment up top. Is there an invite code to your bracket? No, you just use fajitas. They've put that thing back up there, Stevie. One more again.
All right, we all already have 77 people in our league so far.
Sweet.
Woo, let's go.
Love it. Let's go.
So, the invite code is all lowercase fajitas.
Fajitas.
There it is.
At another point, I'll find out why. Obviously, I've seen the I Love Fajitas T-shirt, but that was very funny when that came across us, because we were like, well, let's make the code shake and bake, and then Molly was like, could the code be fajitas?
Molly girl.
Question marks over everyone's head at Drag Race Bracket Bonanza World Headquarters. Yeah, it can be whatever you want it to be.
What does this mean?
Yeah.
What are these fajitas?
That's
Well,
good.
I'm setting mine up right now.
As you should. And this is the first real thing we've ever done. That's real here at Shake and Bake.
Well, we're going to make it awesome. And it's going to be, and we're open to all input. And, we want to make it as cool as possible for people. We'll have some cool off-season stuff going on. But the biggest thing is, free. Anyone any age can play. A great chance to talk shit to you guys when you do win. And I will say we will also be reaching out to some more legends. And we did the legends for the first time last year at the U.S. Nationals, and Ace McCullough filled out the funny car bracket. And I wish I would have had a recording of me talking to Ace on Sunday night, because he's like, yeah, you got the bracket. And he's like, yeah. And he kind of goes through the first round. And then he kind of gets to the second round, and he's like, oh, man, J.R. Todd versus Hagen. Huh.
Yeah.
And it's like Ace is thinking about it. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm wasting Ace McCullough's time on my silly game. And
this is cool.
And I did the same thing with Warren Johnson did the Pro Stock ladder, and he picked Aaron Stanfield to win the race. So he was nails. And Larry Dixon did Top Fuel, and right after the first round of Top Fuel, Larry sent me a text that said, don't ever bet on Top Fuel, because his ladder was wrecked after the first round. So
mine this weekend was so bad.
So and Michael, yes, I love fajitas.
Talking about.
Oh, I'm in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you hear that, Lyle? Elon loves fajitas, but he's from Texas. We knew that.
Yeah.
There's
fajitas. But I don't do shrimp fajitas. I only do steak or chicken.
But you eat them steamy, and you to eat them a lot.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I think I've eaten fajitas with you.
Lyle's 3,000 at this time, so he's
the lack of beard gave it away, Elon. To be honest with you.
Well, I will say that while Stevie was waxing poetically about that company that's just so deadbeat, I was just very much beard envy as Lyle's just sitting there stroking that beautiful face mane he's got. And I was like, that would take me 5 lifetimes to grow.
Easily.
It's a face sweater for the winter. Winter months.
It's impressive. It's impressive.
Don't be nice to him, Elon.
What is it, Courtney? It's just the weight of manhood on my chin.
Weight of manhood. Man, if I was a dude, my beard would be 5 times as big as yours. Get out of here.
I mean, you already got a sweet mustache going, Courtney, so I don't need what you have to worry about.
Gosh damn it, Elon. You're supposed to be my people.
Oh man, shorten it.
I think you saw that deal I made on my Instagram story of hey, if I'm not giving you shit, we may have a problem.
That's true. You bought me a glass of wine at the bar the other night, so we're friends forever.
Yeah,
that's all you got to do, folks. You can run over Courtney's dog, but just give her a big old glass of wine.
A big old glass of red wine. It's all fine here. Nothing to see. Nothing to
Yep.
see.
No, this has been great. So, Elam, we'll be able to see, but I think we should set some kind of goal. Like before the next race, like how many people should we have? Very loyal. There's 800 of you watching right this very second. If we can't get 500 people in the league, come on.
We should be able to.
If you get, so we got people that are signing up now, but you get 500 people in your league by the start of Epping, we'll kick in some more prizes. We'll come up with some prizes to randomly pick some extra people.
Let's go.
There's got to be 500 of you in here that haven't signed up for this yet.
Let me put this in my thing. So get 500 people. I'll get that done.
And by the time everybody watches this by the end of the week, we usually have, 30 to some odd thousand.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Of you. So let's go. This is awesome. We appreciate you, Elan. I know you guys did a lot of work in a couple of days. We just talked about this last week. We met about it in Chicago. And here we are with press release ready to go, assets ready to go, and a league created. So big thanks to you guys.
Yeah, did you hear that, fellas? You said assets.
Nah.
Not an app yet. One last question before we let you go, Elan. Is there an app yet? I know that you have been talking about it, but no app.
There's not an app yet. We had when we a little behind the scenes when we started. This is an Elan Warner Communications, Warner G&E production, and apps are pretty expensive to develop. So we opted to make it web-based, but it still looks good on your phone.
It does. I filled it out on my phone.
It's designed to look like an app, but it's web-based. So I'm not ruling out that down the road we might have an app, but right now it's just worked out easier to have it web-based. So you can do it on your laptop or your phone. So. Yep.
Well, this is going to be awesome. We're excited. We'll check back in with you before the next race and see if our Shake and Bakers have shown up and shown up for you.
All right. Appreciate you guys. You guys have a great
Thanks,
night.
Elan.
All right. Thanks, Elan.
Thank you, man. That's cool. It's going to be fun. Anytime we can do some shaking and baking and hanging out with the folks.
And it just gives us, listen, we thrive on competing with each other.
This is what you like you owe me money.
To the ground. I'm going to beat you like a rented mule.
All right. Well, we'll start to make some side bets here. So, but
better get in that pocket.
We will figure that out. And what a wonderful transition that I did not do well this week was I did not pick Jack Beckman. I picked him to runner up. I did not pick him to win, and I should have picked him to win because we have a winner on our show today. I'm
super excited about this guest. Jack's been a friend of mine. True story from a long time ago when I first got interested in pro racing. Jack Beckman was one of the folks that would return my emails. I would email him after races, ask for tips on getting sponsors. How do I get in a car? Ended up being my instructor at Frank Hawley's drag racing school. And with no further ado, I want to bring on the latest winner on the NHRA Funny Car Tour, Fast Jack Beckman.
Speaking of rented mules, right, Stevie?
What's up? How's it going, brother?
What an entrance.
Well, but I'm glad Stevie prefaced it with our relationship because Stevie was always a local superstar, but before the national scene got to see what he had to offer, I saw what he had to offer.
Yeah, thank you. It was fun.
You've done that with a lot of people too. I mean, the Frank Hawley situation, you were able to kind of get an eyeball of people before the rest of the world did.
Yeah, I mean, the licensing class, it's 2 days, and you don't really get a true flavor in 2 days. Like your dad, Courtney, always says, thanks so much for what you did with Erica. I said, I can't take credit for the great ones because I ain't taking the blame for the bad ones. 2 days is enough to set the foundation that the folks that graduate the school can take that knowledge and apply it and keep applying it. And, Stevie had quite a background before he ever even came in. Your sister had a big background before he ever came in. But what you can tell is the ones that are really passionate about it, not the ones that just came there because they want to tell you how you should teach them and just go ahead and sign your license and don't be critical of anything they do in the car.
Can't imagine any of that happening.
Jack, we have a few.
So I've used this line from a piece of advice you gave me when I started school. I had just failed one of the runs in the dragster, and I'm looking at this thing, and then I didn't understand how a blower motor worked or clutch worked or anything. All my experience was indoor cars, and I'm just beating my head against the wall because I failed a run. And you walked up to me and you said, "It's just a bunch of bolts get in there and drive the piece of shit. That's exactly what you said, just like that. And I cannot tell you how many people I have taught to drive pro mods that I have given them that exact speech. It's just a bunch of bolts. Get in there and drive this shit.
Well, let's not. Frank Hawley won't see this, will he, Stevie?
I hope not.
He might take that personally. But like in life, we tend to make mountains out of molehills, right? And I always thought Frank Hawley had a wonderful way of taking a large amount of tasks that need to be done in a relatively short period of time, breaking them down, making them easily digestible. You can wrap your head around it. And by the way, Lyle, just, nobody fails a run at Frank Hawley's. Oftentimes students will get to repeat a run distance so that they may get better at their skill set before we let them go further and faster down the racetrack. How's that for clarification, buddy?
There you go. Well, I got to repeat a run down the racing course because I did not go in a straight line and was looking at the 330 cone and drove it right over there to it. So I got to enjoy that one again. So,
Well,
lessons learned, but look how he turned out, guys, right?
I mean, that's questionable.
hey,
Questionable
We're
behavior.
on the fence. We're on the fence.
Stevie can drive.
I like it. You're gonna
Jack,
get to see it in Bristol, baby. I'm gonna be in there. I'm gonna be
Right
it's
on.
gonna happen. All right.
When it comes to teaching at Hawley's school, Justin Elks, who was my first crew chief when I first started driving pro modifieds, and he told me after my first day driving when I drove for Elite, he said, I knew when you did the first burnout that you were going to be able to do this. So as an instructor, and when I don't know how many people you've taught, I don't know how many people have came through that you've instructed to drive these things, but in the first few, let's just say the first few burnouts, can you tell, have you taught enough of them to know, like, yep, this guy's going to figure it out, or no, this dude is really going to struggle, just based on maybe even their first burnout or their first run?
So it's north of 7,000. And I think Frank Hawley's probably north of 35,000 students so far. And you'd like to think that, right? We actually sit in the classroom for an hour before we ever even leave to get fire suits and cockpit orientation and even think about firing a race car up. And the students will introduce themselves, talk about their background, and you kind of listen and pay attention and you try to figure out trends, right? And you think that the longer you do something, the better you get. Lyle, it's like betting on the stock market. You can't tell. They have no idea. So, and it goes further than that. There's some folks that get in there and they progress right through the 6 runs, never repeat anything. And they go out and they run, and years later, they haven't won a race, haven't really done what they had set out to do. And then there's ones that have struggled. That's taken them. Paul Mitzos, Mountain View Tire. He owns a fast tire store now, but the Mitzos family had a pro stock car for years. And then Paul got a top sportsman car, fast car, and has won races in that thing and has developed into a fine racer. Remember, there's a difference between a driver and a racer, but before you can be a racer, you got to be a driver. And Paul just struggled getting used to the power of a 9-second Firebird, and has developed into a fantastic racer in a 6-second door car. So no, it's hard to find trends in that because there's always exceptions.
All right. So transitioning to current events, how awesome was it to come out there in that peak car and win that peak race?
I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, it was an 11. And it was an odd way to get to 11, right? The history books are going to show that we qualified number 1 and we won the race. And it's easy. Lyle, we're talking about seeing trends and making judgments and assessments. It would be easy for somebody to think that, well, they must have gone out and dominated the race. Far from it, right? We were good when we needed to be, and we had breaks when we needed them. It was a wacky weekend.
Yes, it was. And we'll I mean, how many times have you been to a NHRA race and had that?
That looks like the preview for The Mummy, doesn't it?
And huge credit to Mark Rebellious for this photo. This is a great photo with Tony Stewart and Clay Milliken on the track about to get blown away.
Yeah, I was working in downtown LA today, and I'm still hacking and coughing. Like, oh my gosh, the dust there was just crazy.
Yeah,
And
this was
it really rolled
really
in.
awning off of our trailer.
Like right as Funny Car was coming up, I'm up on the starting line. We hadn't seen the cloud yet, but it had really rolled in. The Jumbotron, they brought it down, all the things. And I even saw a couple of guys up on the starting line where their hatch wouldn't stay closed. And I mean, I know that it's nothing happened and everything was okay. And I come from a different world of downforce, if you will. But when you're sitting in there and some kind of natural disaster like that is coming about, like, does it even bother you? What are you thinking?
So, Courtney, the thing I can most closely liken it to is Vegas. Vegas gets a lot of windstorms through there. You see the racetrack just changes colors, and then they go out there and they start trying to prep it, and you see tire tracks where they're going down there. We were the last pair of funny cars for Q2 Friday night. And as the set in front of us launched and went out there, I looked down the track and I could see the car in front of us went way over and came back, and you just see two black marks going down there. And I get on the radio and I said, don't you think they should take the tire rotators out there? And Tim Fabrizi looks, kind of goes like this. Cunningham comes on the radio, goes, no, just follow those tire tracks out there. You'll be fine.
No thanks.
No,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jack.
Well,
Sorry.
they slowed it down enough, but it was one of those runs that car made a lot of noise to run a 4 flat. Like it sounded like it was trying to run a 370, and it went 4 flat. And it's one of those runs we had them in car. I'm sure the footage is out there where I'm an understeerer. If you watch in the car, I'm a Frank Hawley type of guy. You steer when you need to steer, but the smallest amount possible to not upset the car. I don't think that steering wheel stayed stationary for 50 feet on that run. You're continually adjusting all the way down track. It keeps you on your toes, and everybody ran safely on that one. But, every time you think you've seen everything there is at a drag race, something like that comes up.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about Jason Galvin said something on the PA when you and Austin were running. So I made the mistake. My bracket Bonanza, I had Austin win in and had you runner up. Didn't have the magic of the peak race. I know, blah, blah, blah. Can't stop magic. But he said something about this is going to be a cool rivalry. And then he stopped himself because you're under the same umbrella. But I want you to kind of explain to the Shake and Bakers, because I don't know, behind the scenes, when you guys get up there, obviously it's JFR to the front. When you both won the semis, it was like, we've won no matter what. But what is that? How does that mode shift when there are only two of you guys left and it's your friggin' family member next to you?
Well, first off, betting on Austin typically is a safe bet. I won't hold that against you. Secondly, yeah, we're in the same family, but the trophy's going home with somebody, right? You don't say, oh, you go ahead and take it. Of course you want to win out there. And they've set the bar really high there. But I'll go back to the finals, last race of 2024. And Austin and I had each just won the semifinals. And I walked over to him. I said, hey, listen, let's both go in thin. It makes your reaction times look, well, they're honest, but they're the worst they could be when you're stage thin. You got the most amount of rollout, but it also makes the ET the quickest that it could possibly be. And Austin said, of course, absolutely. That's how we do it. And we did it in this final round too, because I think the fans deserve to see something like that. And it's always funny when you see these keyboard warriors. At some point in some time, somebody will say, Austin's team threw that race to let us win by 12 thousandths. Like there's a knob on these cars that you could tune them to run that. But I'm thrilled that we won. But I'm still a fan. It's great to put on that kind of race for the fans. And I think that final is going to go down as probably one of the better ones of the year.
It was awesome. And you said something really cool too. I'll shut up in a minute, boys. But you said something really cool in your interview too. You said, Austin's got an incredible career ahead of him, and I'm just trying to soak in every minute that I get, because the way that you have come into this position is not the happiest of stories, but if somebody's got to do it, like, what an honor. But I think that that's so great that you have your head so wrapped around what this sport needs and what your role is there. That when you said that over the PA, that got me.
Well, and it's true. I mean, today I went back to work fixing elevators, and I love that. I'm really fortunate that after 22 years away from the trade, I was able to go back there, that industry had enough faith in me to take me back and take a risk on somebody that had missed all that experience there. And it's been a steep learning curve getting back. And some people think maybe that's a distraction from driving a funny car. And I think it falls under the heading of it is what it is. In other words, that's the way it is. And how would you manage that? And I think I choose to manage it that I think it's wonderful that I can keep my hands and my head busy during the weekdays, then hop on an airplane, then change mentalities and go back into funny car driver mode. And I think maybe it keeps me fresher. I don't let the stress of racing permeate throughout the week. I'm too busy working.
Well, you speak about the stress of racing, Jack, and I was thinking about this question earlier today when I was thinking about the stuff I would ask you tonight, and you know, you raced for years under the Don Schumacher camp and drove not for yourself, but you were, you know, that was Jack Beckman's funny car, and Jack Beckman drove that car, and it was yours, you know, and you step away and go back to doing the elevator thing, and then John has this very unfortunate accident, you know, and you're the phone call. And I want you to talk a little bit about the pressure, if there was some. I'm sure there was. You're going to drive, you know, the best to ever do it's funny car, his replacement to finish the year, and now it's turned into, you know, at least another season, and hopefully you're going to continue to do this for years to come. But talk a little bit about the pressure and the stressors that came along with driving your own car and stepping into, you know, not only a good one, but John Force's.
So, Lyle, let's say you're rolling up in the staging lanes. Stevie's next to you. You guys are going to run the final round of the U.S. Nationals. And could one of you choose to say, this is what I've dreamed about for 10 years. We are so fortunate to be here. Let's everybody stay on our A game and let's go do the best we can. And the answer is, yeah, of course you could feel that way. Now, is it also possible you go, oh my God, it's the biggest race of the year. I am feeling so much pressure. I sure hope I don't screw this up. Their car's been outrunning us by 400. Oh my goodness, here comes the win. And it's possible you could feel that way. Or think about your minor league baseball player and you got called back up to the majors. Well, I wasn't even in the minor leagues anymore. I was fixing elevators.
Wow.
And John Force wants me to get in his car. Robert Hyde is the one that called and said, I'm not offering you the job, because there's a lot of boxes we've got to cross off before this can happen. But before I make all the effort to talk to all the sponsors, I need to know if you're interested or not. He said, so I want you to think about this. And I started saying yes the moment I hit answer on the phone. Right. Yes, I'm interested. So, okay, so there's some pressure, there's some stress. I was out of the game for 3 years and 9 months, and now I get to go drive John Force's funny car. One of my friends, Mike Romero, in the elevator trade, and I've known him since the day I started at Westinghouse Elevator in 1988 or a week after. He said, you know, most people don't ever get their dream. You've got it twice in your life now. So it is what it is, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, it's awesome.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. When they chose you to do it, I know I was excited.
You know, I could see how it would have less pressure. Like you get another year in the sun, right? I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You go back to your normal life. Like,
right. The worst thing can happen is they fired me, right? Yeah. No, I've been to 14 races and I've left with the trophy 4 times. John gave me the ability to be in one of the best cars I've ever driven in my life. I'd probably argue that even though we stubbed our toe at Vegas and Charlotte and we were beatable at Chicago, on par, this is the best car I've ever driven. In terms of percentage of complete runs, this thing is just insane how consistent it runs as a top 3 car out there. And that can do one of 2 things to you. We're talking about pressure and stress. Driving one of the best cars out there can make you incredibly complacent, and then you don't respond correctly when the car goes out there and shakes or smokes or something. Or it can make you a lot more confident and help you bloom into the best driver you're capable of being. And you know, some days it's easy to do all that stuff right. Some days it's nearly impossible.
Yep. Yes, that is factual. I know driving for a long time, you know, if you're having a good day driving, nothing can wreck it. Nothing can mess it up. Like if you wake up, you're in a good mood, the sun's shining, you got you a fast couple top 3 hot rod, you've been 20 on the tree all weekend. But what really makes a great driver is when you're not doing good, you're stressed out at work, the car's not really doing good, team's not really flowing well, everybody's looking at you, and you have to go out there and do it. And those are the times you figure out what you're made out of. Like
Some days it's easy. Yeah. And some days it's not, but it goes further. It's not just you, right? That applies to the car. The third time our car wouldn't start. First time we had a broken air fitting. We missed a qualifying run. We hadn't done that yet. Second time was Sunday morning, bad gas in the primer bottle. And that happens every once in a while to teams. We caught that pretty quick. I thought they were just screwing with me again after what happened Saturday night. And then before the semis, the car won't start. So we got thrown a couple of curveballs. Everybody just took their breath, went about what they needed to do. Tim Fabrizi was running in and out, getting the electronics, got a new MSD power grid, bolted it in, put the starter on, thing fired up. We hauled butt, got me suited up, went up to the staging lanes, and then everybody still had a job to do. Even though we had something happen out of the ordinary, it's having that mentality to say, okay, guys, we're where we need to be right now. Settle down. Let's go do things the right way.
Well, they have plenty of practice over there. The people that work for that organization are truly some of the best, and routine is real. But I want to talk about something a little more personal and emotional on this side of what Lyle and Stevie kind of just asked. John Force, right? Like, that's all you have to say. He is truly, if you go to somebody who's never heard of drag racing, they've still heard of John Force. It's just one of those things. When the accident happened, ironically enough, he was supposed to be on the Shake and Bake show that next week. I'd worked for weeks. We finally got him. Was supposed to be on the Shake and Bake show. The accident happened. Everything transitions, but the internet, who are they going to pick? Oh, it's going to be, I saw so many names come about, but one of the most consistent names was yours. But I think that something they maybe had to think about was off track, right? Off track, you go out there. John Force is at the gates, the big crowd, win, lose, catch on fire, whatever. He is a man of the people. And I don't think you had to try to step into that role. Not that you're trying to be John Force, because at this point of the season, this is Jack Beckman's career. Last year, you were replacement driver. This year, you're Jack Beckman. But I think there's something so poetic and emotional for our fans and our sport of you stepping right back into that. I remember Brainerd last year. We were pitted a couple of doors down from you, and it was mayhem at your pit constantly. You were out there in the middle of the row, hooing and hawing with the people, something that comes so naturally for you. Long question. How has the reception been from John's fans and your fans alike? But I'm more specifically talking about John's coming in and accepting you and you filling that place in their heart and in the sport of being the man.
It's a great question. And there might be haters out there. I haven't talked to them. I stay off social media because I don't want to read about it. But the great thing is there's always rivalries out there, right? There's some people that aren't big fans of mine now because I'm not driving a Mopar anymore. Yeah. And that's okay. But it's okay. I appreciate that they were brand loyal. That kind of makes the sport cooler. And there's some people that stayed fans of mine that weren't necessarily John Force fans and rooted for me. And now they like John Force more because he hired me. There's only one John Force. I used to say they broke the mold. There was no mold for him, right? God custom made that guy. There's nobody like him. I loved John when I raced against him. I always thought he could do no wrong in my eyes. My relationship with him goes back to when I was a kid at Orange County watching him. But back then, my heroes were Jungle Jim when he came out west, especially Perdome. Perdome was 10 feet tall back then. John Force was just another racer then because he hadn't bloomed into who he would ultimately become. But John Force is the quintessential American story. He doesn't take no for an answer. He's never quit. Look, he was my age when he got airlifted out of Dallas in 2007, and I thought that's the end of his career. He came back and won championships after that. And everybody says records are meant to be broken. Lyle, Stevie, 157 national event wins. I don't know that any of us are going to live long enough or keep sponsors long enough to come close to those numbers. I think I've got a great number. I'm at 36, 38 total, and I'd have to win another 120 to catch John. It's just mind-blowing what he's done for the sport, and the guy cares about people. He does. And he took a major setback with a traumatic brain injury. Let's not downplay this and say everything's perfect. John is still in recovery. He's doing his therapy. He's doing his rehab. I see a positive trend of him getting better and better. I don't know if one day he says, kid, get out of the way, I'm hopping back in. I don't know. And that's why I choose, for as long as this lasts, to the best of my ability, enjoy it. But it's not lost on me that Robert Hyde and John Force picked me to get in that car. And by the way, Brian Bolander from Peak had a huge say in that happening. He says there's only one guy I would put in that car. And that is so flattering to work with a group of people that are passionate about what they do and supportive.
That's
pretty awesome. When you have not only the sponsors, but the team owner, the crew chief, when you have all of that believing in you, that's a big rope to toe, buddy. I mean,
yeah. When we're going up for the final and this guy ducks under the hood, it gives you the thumbs up. I loved at Charlotte. I got to meet Rick Hendrick for the first time. And what a guy. And then at Chicago, I got to meet Tom Hurwitz, the owner of Old World Industries. But back to Rick Hendrick. So Rick came out to the racetrack on Sunday, and we just got to BS, and we were just car people hanging out and talking. And John and him are talking, and then John ducks under the body, and I got earplugs on, and I got a helmet on. I'm 58. I've been around loud noises all my life. And his lips are moving. I'm pointing to him. So he gets further under the car. And I hear a little bit more, but I'm pointing my ear. So he starts talking louder. Well, then Chris Cunningham comes on the radio to tell me about burnout position. And so I'm like, hold on. And then finally he's able to talk. And he says, talking to Hendrick, and we were just talking about, and to this day, I have no clue what John was trying to tell me then. But at the end of the time, he was wishing me good luck on the run.
That was a pretty good impression. It sounded like him.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
But Courtney, long answer to your long question. Driving for Don Schumacher was absolutely amazing. I never thought I could dream big enough. I never dreamed big enough to think that I could do what I did at Schumacher Racing. And then when 2020 happened and the Chandler family was pulling out, and God bless them for giving us 6 years to change lives with the program we did for injured vets. But I thought that was it for me. And I got more than I ever dreamed of, more than I think I ever deserved out there. And I needed to be grown up about it and move on. And then I got that second chance to drive for John Force.
Well, dang, I mean, selfishly, Jack, I love what you're doing. I'm very happy for you. And I texted you this when you got the gig. I said, mother, who am I going to get to be on the mic at the Pro on Flow race? He's driving. I lost my talent.
I told you we could multitask if you need, but Tommy Johnson did a pretty good job this last time.
You did, and he was phenomenal, and I love that. But we had a little moment, you and I, at the grandstands, and you basically took your job back, and it was wonderful in your fire suit.
So to paint a picture, last year at Chicago, Christine and I flew out with my son Jason. Jason had done the paint scheme for Chris King's Nitro Funny Car, but it also was to attend the Don Schumacher Memorial. I don't have the ability to take a lot of time off work and spend money to travel to races, but we were there for that. And I was there as a fan, and I enjoyed the weekend. And never would I have thought within 2 months, because at the Chicago race last year, I wore a Don Schumacher crew shirt. It was the wrap that I ran for him, 2009, where it just said Don Schumacher down the side of the car. I had that crew shirt on. I didn't know 2 months later I was going to have a Peak crew shirt on driving for John Force.
That's awesome. All right, we've had a lot of this in the comments. Give us another John Force impression. You got any other in your back pocket?
So John's number is a private number. And you guys know how much spam you get for phone calls right now, right? And when you tell John stuff, he'll look at you, then he'll walk away, then he'll come back later. And what was it you meant about that? And I said, John, yours says private number. I have to answer my phone all the time now when it says private number. Guess you have to do that then, kid. I'm like, can't you unblock it for me or something? Then he just walks away.
He's like, tough cookie, baby.
Oh, that's perfect.
That's awesome.
That is so funny. Richard does that too. You tell him something, and then it could be an hour later. It could be 3 weeks later. He comes back with it. They just got to process.
John and I were talking about interview time and space there, and I used the term self-fulfilling prophecy to him. This is 10 years ago. And he comes back to me a week later, kid, because everybody's kid to him. You'd be 80 years old and you're kid to John. What was that word you said to me? I said, you mean self-fulfilling prophecy? He goes, yeah, that's it. He came back a month later. Tell me again what that was. That just stuck in his head at a random moment.
So awesome.
Oh, that's great.
He calls me, I'm not kid, I'm sister, because he would get Erica and I for years. We've known him years. He couldn't, which one's which? And I just kept saying, John, I'm the sister. You have a daughter named my name. So doesn't even Courtney me. He's just sister. That's driver and sister.
I'm terrible with names, and I appreciate when other people are terrible with names. Don Garlitz and Tommy Ivo have memories like nobody I've ever met in my life. Their recall for things that happened 60 years ago is mind-blowing. I can't remember what I did a week before. Force has seen it all, done it all, met so many people. Think about the number of crew guys that he's had. So it's fun in an interview to listen to him try to name which daughters of his have done what in racing over the years. And sometimes he's got to point at one and, your sister.
That's you, Court.
That's me. Well, if you've ever watched the Shake and Bake show, we have a very important question. Stevie, take it away.
Okay. You just left racing at the peak race in the peak funny car. You went out there. You ran within 12 thousandths of a second in the final round against your teammate, Austin Trott. Managed to outrun the mummy dust storm, win the whole event, go to the winner's circle, take your pictures. They're dumping champagne all over you. Peaks flowing in everyone's radiators left and right. You starving to death because you've been at the track all day. You leave and you go to the Mexican joint. You're going to order some food. I want to know, after you win an NHRA funny car race, do you or do you not love to eat a big old steamy plate of fajitas?
Well, first off, Christine made us a Jack and Coke for the winner's circle. Then when we left, because we had an 8:30 flight that night and thought we had plenty of time, it was a drive-through at Culver's with a roast beef sandwich. That's all we had time for. I'm an eater, Stevie. Anytime, anywhere, one of us wins a race, we can do a sit down and have a winter dinner. I love the fact that some of our sportsman fans, Dick and Kathy Vandermeer, who have raced with them Super Comp for years, when we go to the Vegas race, we can go to the sportsman pits, hang out with them, taco platters, and just BS about racing. The thing I miss about sportsman racing was the gaps between the runs, where you could just digest the atmosphere at the racetrack. Don't get me wrong. I love being a professional racer. Courtney, when I was away, I was still a big fan. So you're saying I don't have to try too hard to do what I do with the ropes, and I don't, because I still appreciate the sport. But with sportsman racing, you just get more time to breathe it all in. Then the plan is hopefully you make Elimination Sunday, and then it's bam, 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 bam. You either get the trophy or you get put on the trailer. But I'm still a huge fan. None of this has moved past me.
But unrelated, when fajitas come out at a restaurant, they're steamy. Does it annoy you, or does it tickle your taste buds?
Oh, I see where we're going here.
No, but
I'm good. I'm good with that. Is that like a Pavlov dog type of thing? Yeah.
So Lyle Barnett, for some reason, he was dropped on his head as a child and doesn't eat fajitas. All right. So we always like to survey every guest and figure out if they like them or not. So
he doesn't know why.
I'm crossing you off the eligible list there.
Lyle's 2 out of 101.
Yeah, and it's horseshit.
Well, Lyle, there probably is some therapy to work you through that. Texture, sizzle, I don't know.
The steam and sizzle and smoke, I'm good with that.
He says his claim to fame is you walk out of there smelling like a Mexican booty hole.
I'm not sure what they brought him on his plate. That may not have been the fajitas.
It's the presentation of the fajitas that I'm not a fan of, Jack. That was my whole deal. I hate them. I hate going to a Mexican restaurant and I'm not ordering for damn sure.
That may have been the frijoles. Frijoles. I'm sorry, I pronounced that correctly.
Lyle is a closet fajita lover. I'm
not.
Like, oh yeah, I am.
Yes.
Never.
So now every time you see Lyle at a restaurant or anything like that, you just got to send him.
Just give him a.
I've got several of those complimentary.
You got to go at 9. Do you got anybody you want to thank? Sponsors you want to plug? Got any announcements? Anything cool you want to talk about?
We struggled at the 4 wides, and ironically, at both of those, we had one-off bodies on the car. Graham Rahal Performance at Vegas, HendrickCars.com at Charlotte. And it was embarrassing for us to not represent those folks well there, but they're going to both be on the side of our car for the rest of the year. And we're going to put it in the winner's circle some more. Peak, we had all 623 of Old World Industries employees' names on the hood of that Chevy SS. Every run we made at Chicago, the 200 or so that showed up loved it. Absolutely loved having that strong of a connection to the car. The fact that we qualified number one and put them in the winner's circle. And then I handed the trophy to Brian Bolander to take back to Tom Hervis. So I think Monday morning at Peak headquarters was probably a good day for them. I got to thank John for the opportunity. Thank Robert Height for keeping me in that small group of people that they were thinking about. I want to thank Brittany. I have got to know her so much better. And when I missed Sunday eliminations at Dallas, she stood on the starting line with my team where our car should have been there. She came into our winner's circle at Chicago. I want to thank Austin for pushing, because if he wasn't as good as he was, the rest of us might think we were really, really good at what we do. And he showed us we got to keep working.
That's awesome.
That's so cool. See, that's what I mean.
Competition and passion always brings out competition and passion. I love it.
That's been great. I know you got something else on after this. We've been trying to get you for a long time. So glad you were able to make it work tonight.
Well, you can thank Christine for that. She says, we owe Courtney. I said, I know. Make it happen. Yeah.
I did. I texted her directly. I said, I'm even going through Jack this time. No.
Can I take a moment to thank Christine for this too? Yep. Thank you, Christine. Okay.
She's
Up the heaters, please.
You are. I do just want to reiterate before you get off. I know that being in a shadow of something myself, like it is a weird deal. And I know that you're super proud of what you're doing over there for JFR, but as a Jack Beckman fan and the rest of us that are Jack Beckman fans, this year is really cool to watch Jack Beckman go do Jack Beckman things. So I'm very excited for you.
And thank you. That's truly, that means a ton. And I don't care. John's shadow casts a long way, right? He's the greatest of all time. I don't have a big ego about this. I love being around the sport. I love the fact that my name's now associated with his after being with Don Schumacher Racing so long. And I love the fact that I'm back in a race car and he's still rooting for me to do good. I love that.
So very cool. Well, awesome.
Let's make sure we double up in Bristol. We'll get us a double winner circle celebration.
I kind of like that.
It sounds good.
Fajitas, Jack and Coke. Lyle, Ian?
Fajitas, Jack and Cokes everywhere.
I will make that happen. You boys make it happen. I'll make it happen.
I will join you at the table if that happens.
Well, I am looking forward to seeing you all at the starting line soon.
Awesome. We appreciate you a lot, Jack.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you for coming on,
Have
brother.
a great night, guys. It's an honor. It really was. Love you guys.
Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it, dude.
What an awesome dude, man.
God. Did Jack Beckman just say he loved us?
He did. That's a real deal dude right there. Real deal badass race car driver right there.
He is the real deal.
We were almost professional people tonight with our
almost about as professional as you can get.
So let's fall off the Richter scale here for the rest of the shit we got to talk about now. That was really cool, though. I think that what happened in the sport, in the history of our sport, through John's wreck, the comeback, all the things, this is going to be something that is really charted through the years of the history of drag racing. About 20 years from now, we'll be looking back on it, and we got to be a part of Jack. Very cool.
That is very awesome.
All right.
Let's roll through the rest of NHRA Chicago.
Yep.
All right, so you guys saw that we had some smoky, terrible dust storm. Credit again to Mark Rebellious. I hear that there's been a tremendous outpouring of photographer distaste for not getting credit on photos lately.
Yes. No, Mark is always, if it's some, and this is cool for Mark because he does like tornado chasing when races aren't happening. So if a weather disaster happens at a racetrack, like
clearly he needs to go to Molly's house.
No shit. Yeah, Molly, we hope you're still alive. There's a tornado right in Molly's town there. So we hope you're still alive.
Molly just posted in our private chat that there's a tornado over her house. And if she's not in here anymore, she probably lost her internet. So
yes.
Huge congrats to Mason Wright for winning the KTR top qualifier award. awesome to see a Roots blower running at the top. Justin Elks, all the folks at Modern, Mike Janis Superchargers did a great job, and they were the class of the field, qualified number 1, and won the event in Pro Mod. So that was pretty exciting.
Damn, they ran good.
Man, they ran good. That thing, that Roots blower, me and Chuck talk about it all the time, Chuck Ford. I said, man, that Roots blower is shiny. And he's like, oh, it ain't that shiny. I said, it's 30 pounds lighter than when they obsoleted it, when we were running good. But those guys are running good. They earned it. And Pro Mod's tough, man. I mean,
Pro Mod's very tough.
So, like, when we're talking about busting the brackets, this is what I'm talking about. Who would you say is the most dominant car in NHRA Pro Mod this year? There's no question. It's JR Gray, right now.
Right, yeah.
In the semis, if Billy Banica's car was running, he wins that round, and JR is never in the finals because he had to abort the run. And that's what we're talking about, how it would be so hard to pick Pro Mod in a bracket because these things are so unpredictable. The driver can be perfect, and the crew chief can be perfect, and the car can just try to ram into the wall at any time.
It is. We'll quickly run through the rest of this. Top Fuel, Tony
Stewart. I think we've put the whole one time we won a race, and that's a good thing to bed. Those folks are going to race for a championship.
And I love
that he was 48 on the tree in the final.
Yes.
Well, I was just going to say this. You look at this, the funny car final, like Jack Beckman just said, super cool. They were within a couple of thou of each other on both ends of the racetrack. Same with Justin Ashley and Tony Stewart. 42 for Justin Ashley on the tree, 48 for Tony Stewart. Ran down there. Justin was a 381.8, Tony 377.7. Love that 777. His wife Leah is always the 777s. That's really cool. But super cool to see him win a 2-wide, and that's why he popped off in his winter interview because the internet the last few weeks been like, oh, anybody can win a 4-wide, blah, blah, blah. Talk to me when you won a 2-wide. Guess what? He won a 2-wide. Tony Stewart is here to stay, ladies and gentlemen.
It was really cool for him to give Phil Schuler props in the interview before the finals. When you hear people that are self-made, well-funded, and can do what they want without really out anyone's help, give credit to the people that help it happen. All his crew guys, his crew chief, that's cool. Phil's a huge part of that whole team.
It was. And stop me if you've heard this before. Gage Herrera, Matt Smith in the finals.
So you guys see the man poke it in the bowl, pull it back out, and poke it back in the finals.
I did.
Crew chief on the starting line said he didn't mean to do that. That was an accident. The wind blew it in. Then Gage gets out on the top end and said, I did that on purpose. So it's good.
Did you hear what he said? Wow, I thought of you instantly because he's like, his dad's Tricky Ricky Smith. I wouldn't expect anything else from him. And it's just like, man, to see Gage, he's so soft spoken and just so cute. He's getting in the mix, and I love it.
If I was that good at riding a motorcycle, I would not be soft spoken.
No.
Like, guess what just happened? There's some more meat on your forehead.
I gotta give a couple of little cool things here. Kelly Klontz had a breakout weekend, in my opinion. She was low of the round Friday night. Ended up number 5 qualifier. Didn't work out on race day. Had an issue, but Angie Smith. If you watch that first round of eliminations, first off, the bikes had some decision-making in their own this weekend where they decided not to run that run on Friday night. Very smart. You could barely stand up straight there. But Sunday morning, Angie's in the left lane, and it bogs on the start line, kind of hops her around. She's on the side of the bike. Well, she sees that he also bogged, and that girl was hanging on by a thread, not only through the hops on the starting line, goes towards the center line. I was standing behind her just so nervous because it was such a wild ride. And I think Jason Galvin did a good job giving her enough credit. But anybody saying whatever they want, if you missed that run that morning, that girl can ride and that girl is afraid of nothing. But if you're married to Matt Smith, what could you really be afraid of?
That's very true.
Let's talk about your King Dingaling's first round run. Like, Spencer goes out there and lays one down in E1. I mean, like when that thing left, I'm like, oh, dang. And then to get loaded up like that racing's tough, man.
To go 388 and lose. And his little goal this weekend, obviously you want to win and we want to make it to Too Fast, Too Tasty but he'd never been over 330. And so it's so crazy to like hit that. He hit 331 round 1, makes a fantastic run. And you get loaded the F up. That sucks. But again, that's Funny Car right now. Funny Car is everything is wild except Pro Stock that wasn't there this weekend. But very, very cool.
All right, let's get to, I want to talk about, but before we move on while we're still in the NHRA, we got a lot of comments earlier about Tom Bailey's run, 262 miles an hour. I got a lot of flack on my social media about why are you guys so much slower than that? Why are you guys so much slower than that? What are you guys' thought on it? And then I'll tell you what I think.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, it was a great run, and and for him to be able to drive that thing down the road and go get some ice cream like he can drive that thing on the street, but where I kind of was turned my nose up some was everybody, and the internet is its own deal, and Tony explained that very well, but everybody talking about it being a street car. A street car outrunning all the pro mods. Like, that is a pro mod.
Right.
That has enough shit on it that he can drive it down the road. I understand it's a couple 100 pounds heavier than it could be. Did it not have all the shit on it that made it streetable? But still, the thing probably makes 5,000 or better, right? And like, it should go fast. Like, if you put an equal power plant in, I don't know, let's just say Sidney Frigo's car, right? The thing would go 280, right? If not faster. We're talking about, there's a realistic possibility that if somebody's got the balls to do it and they can find a tire and a body and a windshield that'll withstand it, like, those things could realistically go 300 miles an hour, So I'm not taking anything away from Tom Bailey and what he just did. That was a fantastic run. But for the general fan on the internet to type that he made all the pro mods look bad, I wholeheartely disagree. If you gave him equal power, the thing wouldn't go 590. So that's my take.
It's like huge congrats to those guys. It's very impressive. It's awesome that it run that fast. It delegitimizes the class a little bit, because not only did the fans latch on to it being the quickest door car in NHRA Pro Mod history, the fastest, but also the media. Drag Illustrated's posting about it, all this stuff. And like, they don't post that it's not a legal Pro Mod car. NHRA would never allow us to run enough power to do that. I had a post typed out, as I normally do, and almost posted it but deleted it, because I don't want to sound like a dick, because I'm a huge fan of Tom Bailey and Sick Week and all that stuff. I think it's cool. But NHRA won't give us a lick of power to do that. Right. So, realistically, that will probably go down as the quickest door car, the fastest door car run ever. Because they're never going to allow us to have enough power to do that. We can put 2% on the blower and do it, but they won't let us do it. Put anything on it.
And what do you think? You think they told him, yeah, that was cool, but don't you ever do that again?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, NHRA does not want door cars going 260. When Erica did that, that was the end of the going fast. We went, JR goes 256 and we get 30 pounds in a week. Right. You know what I'm saying? They don't want us approaching anything north of 255. So,
but people are talking about it.
Yep, good. It's good for traction, good for the sport.
One more thing before we move on to some
stuff.
Randy Couture. Randy Couture debuted his Pro Mod car, speaking of Pro Mods, at the Chicago race.
This is a sexy hot rod right here.
Yes, it is.
And I got in there, like, it's polished and shined and nice up in there.
Really excited to see that Skag shows the value in NHRA Pro Mod enough to jump into it with both feet. That's it kind of shows the momentum that Pro Mod racing has.
It does. And Randy and I talked off camera about that too, just kind of asking him, you could do all the things in the world. And he's a legit fan of Pro Mod racing. And for somebody who does something so rough and tumble and sketchy and badass, like, it fits so well into the narrative of Pro Mod. And I love it.
Sidney Frigo come up to me before one of the qualifying runs when Randy come out and introduced himself to all the folks. Sidney comes up and he nudges me. He said, "You're running him in E1 and he hangs you out on the tree. What are you going to say to him on the top end?" I said, "Probably nothing."
Probably nothing.
I'm sorry I took so long to stage there, sir.
Lyle, are you going to engage in a talk shit battle with one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time?
I probably still.
Yeah,
I probably still.
I'm too dumb not to.
Fuck, him and Lau probably have a fajita slapping contest. Blow you to the moon, big boy.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt he would absolutely stomp a mud hole in my ass at the top end of whatever racetrack I decided to do it at. But yeah, we go to the start line and he hangs me out on the tree or does something dumb. He's 100% going to hear about it at the top end.
God, I love it. So
and I would definitely probably get my ass whipped, but that's
Richmond,
okay.
right? He's debuting in Richmond. Is that
Yes. No. Is it Richmond or is it Bristol? Maybe it's Richmond. Yeah, because the last 5. So yeah,
okay.
Richmond and then all the countdown races. Pretty exciting.
Very cool. All right. Next thing on here.
Oh yeah, let's get on to from the NHRA to the IHRA. So we got announcement NHRA Pro Mod race is paying $125,000. Is that right?
Yeah, and they pay out pretty good. Where's Pro Mod on here?
I can't see that far.
But... no, that's just for their regular races. That's for their normal races. But on the big boy, yep, this is kind of like the World Series of Pro Mod, the equivalent on their end of it. They're paying $150 to win, and they paid down. So the internet kind of lit up. What do you boys think of that? What are the rules?
There hasn't been. I asked. They come introduce themselves to me in staging, Larry Morgan and the folks. And I asked them, "What you gonna do for rules?" And the jury's still out. They said, I don't want to say this publicly, but I'm thinking that it will be PDRA-ish, probably. Of course, that's not official, but that's what.
So the initial rumor was 1,000 feet. Or is it 8th mile? Like, have they?
I don't
established that. The initial rumor I heard is that they were going to run at 1,000 feet, but I haven't heard.
I haven't.
But I think it's a big swing right off the rip. I mean, I think it's cool, and kudos to them for doing it. But in just loud speaking, is if it doesn't go well for whatever reason, it's not supported well, or for whatever, like I could just see somebody new to it and diving in this big, getting a bad taste, and it just not going well forward after that. I mean, I think starting smaller and kind of working up would be a better way to do it, but I don't own racetracks and I don't run a series, so maybe they know something.
I don't know that you can promote a race of the magnitude of what they're trying to do in less than 6 to 8 months. I mean,
no, Wes works on it all year.
You know what I'm saying? But we have looked at putting on a race, a KTR Pro Mod race, many times. People come to me and want us to do one. And I've always told them, I would have to promote it for 6 months. We've never done one yet, but trying to pull that race off in August, and the other thing that you got to fight against is Pro Mod teams, including ours. We're pretty tired. We've been on the road for almost 20 weeks this year. And, look, my guys are working now, and, we're going to get a little summertime break for 6 weeks. I kind of want to take a little bit of time off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think once an event happens, we're also in a weird space. I had a call with NHRA today, so this is nothing I haven't told them to their face. We're in a weird space right now where there's been a lot of plans and there's been a lot of talk and there's been a lot of scuttlebutt, and we haven't seen anything yet. Once they get that first race under their belt, however it goes, I think that but until something happens, we're going to keep having these conversations, and it's not a shit talk session. It's a legitimate.
No, not at all.
Hey, we have.
I'm not talking trash. We're just going to have to wait and see.
We haven't seen anything happen, but it's been the top of the news for 6 months. Something
that I saw commented a bunch, and people that have asked me about it, that what they've had to say, and look, it works. I get it. It works. Wes and his crew, I kind of, it's their deal, but the format, it looks pretty copy and paste-ish. You know what I mean? I would like to have seen them try to do something of their own. And there's only, so many ways to skin a cat, right? But I think that, it looks a lot like, and I have to agree with the people that have said it. It looks a lot like they just looked at what Wes Buck and the Drag Illustrated crew do and just said, "Oh, we're just going to copy and do what they do." And I mean, I would personally have liked to see them do something a little different, but Wes's is totally different from what we're used to, right? It's something we don't do any other time of the year except the 3 races in Bradenton. It goes over really well. The fans love it and whatnot, but I would just like to have seen, something maybe not quite as copy and paste as what they did. I hope it works. I hope it's great, but that's, just what I've seen and kind of my opinion.
I had the opportunity to meet Scott Higgs, the owner of Flying H, this weekend. What a stand-up guy. That's a real deal, dude. There's a comment about for planning to go into that race. I don't want to announce it yet because we're working on some engine development projects at KTR. Shadow is the test mule for that stuff, but I wouldn't rule out at this time not seeing me at that race. We're looking to field a car or two at that race.
And I have no idea. Originally, if we were going to take a car, it would have been the purple car that Tommy Humans just built. 128 over screw deal and whatnot. But I think we're going to leave that thing in no time trim for the foreseeable future. So I don't know. We would have to make some wholesale changes to the current car or the legal pro mod right now to do that. So I don't know.
On the other side of the NHRA train, they and I do appreciate this because it's been a lot of media stories, but the same week that they announced that the President's Cup in Maryland was canceled, they announced the pro mod race there. But I know that a lot of fans in Maryland were disappointed because that's a big race. That's a successful one. That's a cut and paste that works as well up there. And that's a big market. But you have to wonder, I'm just spewing up our shake and bakers here to give us comments. You have to wonder if go back, we're buying Maryland. Maryland makes a statement. No, you're not buying Maryland. Now the IHRA race at Maryland's being canceled. The storyteller in me, the news outlet, article writer girl wants all of that to be connected. I don't know if it is, but that race is officially canceled.
And then I put this up earlier, but they announced a 5-race series. And you're talking about the one in July is canceled, or no? That was another one.
No, there was supposed to be 6, and this came out that same day. So it's not on that schedule.
I haven't added this up, but I can about guess about $1.2 million a purse a race. Just looking at it, that's a lot of cheese.
It is a lot of cheese, and I saw a comment that said, can these racetracks support asses in the seats for this purse? IHRA, the men involved right now are making huge,
big
financial commitments to this to have a proof of the sauce, if you will, before they start, having to rely on front gate, back gate type of balance. They are committed. They have the bankroll. And if the car counts of this come up, I don't think people can say what they want about what their issues are with the IHRA. I don't think money is going to be their issue this year. If there is an issue, I don't think it's going to be this. It's already set aside. It will be car counts. It will be track involvement and overlap of schedule and exhaustion of teams affecting that car count, in my opinion.
And people that can't get their fire suits because ordering it from a shitty company.
Correct.
Terrible news out of PDRA today. We were loaded up. We have 3 teams loaded up, ready to head north to Ohio in the morning. And daggone Mother Nature got us.
Yeah, I think it was a good coffee look. It's not necessarily all rain. They've had rain. They've had tornadoes. They've had things. And the temperatures are going to be quite low for this time of year. And I think Tyler always is working uphill battle, and he protects his racers. And
that was my next point was promoters take note.
This is how
that's a really tough decision for somebody. Tyler Crossnow it was on his back more than likely 100%. I'm sure the Franklins had an opinion, but they probably left it completely up to him.
Yep.
But this is how you do it. Yes, the weather could change between now and then. It could be sunny and 75 all week in Columbus. But when you got teams traveling all the way across the country and everybody leaving in the morning and the possibility that they get there with the forecast the way it is, kudos to Tyler Crossnow for just flat bending over and taking one to make sure he takes care of his racers. That's a stand-up thing to do.
Total protection of the racer.
Yep.
Thank you for saving your race teams hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yep. Promoters take note.
Like even poor Amber Franklin were Snapchat buddies, and she's like, well, we just made the announcement, so I'm going to stay off the internet for 2 to 3 days. Like, people cannot imagine all of the decisions. Redline supporting them, us at Flow supporting them. We already had trucks on the road. There's a lot of things, and you can't wait. You cannot wait until people spend money and leave their houses. And I hope, no offense to whoever this is going to offend, I hope it pours its nuts off all week up there and it makes it feel like a good decision. But either way, like you said, even if it's 75 and sunny, this was the call. Car count would have been affected. Everything would have been affected. Drivers, teams would have spent money. These are hobby, for the most part, racers. And I think it was a great call. So everybody shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
I was not looking forward to trying to smoke the rocket in to 5 Alpha 1 runway at 4,200 feet in that storm that's up there.
Yeah, and they're popping up like crazy. Like, this is just a weird late May is weird, and it's further north than it's ever been, and it's wild. So
I can tell you this.
Hush.
I haven't flown in this inconsistent of weather where I fly in a long time. Like at 25, 28,000 feet in clear air, it's nasty up there. Like and watching when I took off out, I left Chicago at 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. I told the guys I was going to watch the NHRA race from my couch. Clear weather across the southeast with nothing in the TAF terminal aerodrome forecast. By the time I landed in Augusta, there was a supercell over Augusta. So like it's nuts. It's pretty cool. Weather's awesome.
What else we got? PDRA rain out. Streetcar bragging rights.
Dude, Nate Prater.
He's killing it.
He's killing it, man. Like we were supposed to be there to set up as a vendor with MacFab and just had some shit go on and we couldn't make it. But that dude, like above and beyond for the show, right? You know, like that is 100% a show that he works really hard on and a race breaks out. Like that dude, from pyrotechnics to skydivers to just everything, man. He's doing a really good job and he's not out there to make money. I can promise you that. The dude,
and he's not copy and paste.
He gets tons of support and could very well leave there with fat pocket. And instead, and at the last race we were together at, he was showing me some things and he's like, yeah, you know, I could easily just pocket this money, but instead I'm going to take 40 grand and go over here and buy bigger fire shooters and stuff. Like the dude he's doing it the right way. And I'm super proud to call him a friend, man. He is flat getting it done.
Yep. Local guy, awesome series. When you talk about like the Tyler Crossnose, care about the racer, Nate and his staff put in a bunch of effort to make sure that the racers have the best experience and that the fans get a good show. It's a great job.
Very cool to watch. The whole internet the other day was just like, that's all I kept seeing.
Yep. Logan said guy had fireworks set off for the finals of everything. Even the stick cars got fireworks in the finals. You know,
that's like, literally burning money on fire. That means something, you know, to those guys that know there may not be the headliner, you know, that makes them feel like they're appreciated to be there. And, you know, Nate's just doing a good job.
Yep.
There we go. Last thing we have on the list here to mention was Mike Decker Jr. winning Door Wars at Maryland International Raceway. Very cool. I didn't follow any of that until Molly put it on our docket.
So I didn't know this. I haven't seen it yet because I've had my head buried in my engine room. Cleater got a turboprop?
I have no idea.
I know he's on the way to North Carolina in Consuela.
Yeah, I saw that. I know they were doing some pre-trip inspections. I gotta see if he's got a turboprop. That might be a little heads-up race with a rocket.
Jesus Christ.
Better not.
And I don't know if shout out to NC Pro Modder for covering all of the Piedmont big dog stuff. I don't know if you guys have watched any little bits of that, but that shit is flat popping off. The crowd's big, the racing's good, they're running fast. And Stevie, you've ran at Piedmont. There may be several in the comments that have, but that is not a 360 friendly racetrack. It's narrow, it's fucking short, you know, and like
buddy, that's a real deal race.
they are flat getting down. It's the first Thursday of every month. If any of you out there are somewhat local to North Carolina, it is worth making the trip. It's a one-day race. They show up, 2 rounds of qualifying, complete the race all in a Thursday night. And
That's what I'm talking about.
It's been going on for years and years and years. Todd Tutterow with the Barry Mitchell CUDA, they've had a pretty dominating season so far. And it's good racing over there, man. It's pretty cool.
Heck yeah.
We're about to hit 100 people in our league. We need to be at 100 before this show ends, and we need to be at 500 before the next race.
Yeah, Stevie, can you put up the graphic again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Those of you that got on here late, the drag racing bracket bonanza, we now have our own league. Gotta take that comment off.
Oh yeah, sorry, not too good.
And when you sign up, use code fajitas to get in our league. You will play well against everybody, but Stevie and I are going to whip just the absolute dog shit out of Courtney for the rest of the year. So you guys will get to witness that firsthand.
We're going to have KTR and MacFab give some prizes, depending on who's basically anybody that crushes Courtney's probably eligible to win something.
Oh,
And,
so I'm that cool that I already have a bounty?
You don't have it's going to be easy. It's like
Winner of our league from MacFab will get custom engraved gold beadlock ring. Hang on your wall.
I gotta figure something out. Okay, David, I always lean on Double O Shit Show. We'll figure something out. But yeah, y'all go in there. We've already had a few comments. The code is case sensitive, and it is plural fajitas for all you. Spell it out. But yeah, Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, you go in there, create the league. And also you are up for automatically all of the Drag Race Bracket Bonanza stuff, which you can rewind and hear Elin talk about. But very cool deal. We love competition, and I love any reason to talk shit to both you two fools.
it's going to be awesome.
More so you, Lyle.
All you're going to show me is you're a loser.
And?
You're a loser, baby.
So I don't know.
That's enough. That's enough. We're live.
We are live. Y'all may think that, but I can guarantee you, if we did a fan vote of the favorite Shake and Baker, I would freaking win.
Okay. We'll do that.
Molly?
Fan vote.
Steve, I don't think we want to do that.
Y'all are going to ooze.
We're going to ooze winning.
Okay?
We're
Lyle,
going to crush your bitch ass.
at least you're aware.
So because me and Lyle don't have boobs, we are on a team together against you. We cannot independently compete with the boobs. So we are going. Is team manhood versus
D's nuts.
Yeah.
Team D's nuts. I still will crush both of them. Like I said, every single race, Lyle, I told you this, but some random guy came up to me at the racetrack last weekend, said nothing else. Shake and bake. Fuck Lyle.
Well, fuck him too.
We do need to probably do a new shake and bake shirt.
I'm telling you, I still want to do the thing where we each have our own, and whoever sells the most is the winner.
I want to, if you don't have a beard, then fuck you t-shirt.
That's awesome, actually.
My mom won't let me put cuss words on t-shirt.
Maybe well, calm down, Courtney. And that's what drinking water will do. Bite the old tongue.
Do a little something about your mustache. Looks good, by the way. And curly ends up.
Hey.
Oh.
Yeah.
See? But fun fact, and Josie, love you, but the only reason she loves me is because I'm Erica's sister.
Well, that's fair.
I'm just kidding. She likes us both, but she does love Erica. Show of hands for Courtney. Yeah, y'all are screwed. We're gonna make a post. We're gonna make a poll. You guys are screwed. But together, we all are playing Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. So get your asses on there and sign up. Let's go.
And if I can con these jokers into putting Promod in there, you can go ahead and pick Stevie Fast for Bristol.
Dude, how funny. I knew that was going to happen. Elan's face as soon as you said it. And that's a large ask, and he will get it done. But we're disrupting the whole system of the Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. So you Shake and Bakers and ProMod fans, make it worth Elan's time. It costs you nothing. So, all right, I'm done. I'm all
All right, then. It's all
What do we
folks.
have next? No PDRA. Shakedowns the following week.
Yep, we got so up on deck is the is it Shakedown in M-Town? Drag Radio will be up there with a fleet of customers in the hopefully cool north part of the world.
Hey, and that race I only have 4 cars to drive. That's it.
And you can find it all on Flow Racing.
But first, Shady Side Dragway this weekend for King of the South.
And Kayla Zadell from Drag Illustrated will be your pit reporter at Shakedown on Flow. Very cool. Very cool. Y'all be nice to her. Don't be mean like you are to me when I come to your pit, Lau. You be nice to her.
Oh, I'll be nice to her. She's never done anything wrong to me.
See, there you go. I got you, Kayla.
He's probably nice to Lyle.
She is.
I didn't say
Nice
I was.
gal.
So.
No, you're not.
Nope. All right, kiddos. We did it.
I think we nailed that one. It's really all hanging out with you guys. Thank all you fans for spending your Tuesdays with us.
There's still 700 and some of you watching, so Bracket Bonanza it is. As soon as you log off of here, Drag Racing Bracket Bonanza code fajitas, sign up.
And
Shaking Bakers.
We need 500 players before Epping, and
Epping's not this week, but next week, right?
correct.
Prizes from Drag Racing Bracket Bonanza will be added.
Yeah,
500.
He's doing a random, even if we don't make it, whoever signs up, I think he had said tonight, whatever, do it tonight. He's taken some of the early signups and doing a random prize deal as well. So you guys sign up, share the link with anybody, and let's fucking go.
Let's rock and roll.
Get with it.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate y'all. That was fun. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Molly, cue that beautiful bean footage.
If the tornado hasn't taken you away.
If you ever get smoked out by the rowdy tornado.
She hasn't responded in a while, so Molly.
Also, we have
Shake it back! Does that feel good? Yeah.